DK, you've hit a milestone of managing 100 games now. Has it kind of felt like you blinked and that happened? Has it gone pretty quick for you?
It's gone pretty fast, yeah. It's kind of surprising to hear 100 games.
Is it something where you can look at it and you feel like you've already learned a ton about yourself and how you want to approach the role from game 1 to 100?
Yeah, I've learned a lot. Still have a long way to go and continue to learn every day. But you know, it kind of, there's days that it goes by really fast, and then there's days like everybody that kind of feeling their way through it. But for the most part, it is surprising that it's been 100 already.
What do you think the biggest thing you've learned so far through 100 games has been?
Oh man, you know that communication is a big part of the role. But I don't think you really, until you're in it, know how much that is going to take up and trying to facilitate everything that goes on a given day. And I think that, you know, the one thing that I've learned too is that you have to come in prepared, because you never know what's going to transpire throughout any given day. There's always things that pop up that you're not foreseeing.
What can you appreciate about the resilience that this group has shown as well, adapting to change this year?
The team has been unbelievable. You know, as far as like, you know, obviously didn't get off to a great start, but the way that they've been able to rebound and continue to fight. I mean, when you look back at this last road trip, we haven't played that well on the road to go into St. Louis, where historically we really haven't, and then go to Boston and win a series against the Red Sox at Fenway. You know, was awesome.
Why do you think the team has played better under these last 100 games?
You know, I think it's the resilience that they have and the fight that they have, and they've continued to work through all of it. You know, even through the tough start, the way that you know, they've been able to focus on that daily prep, daily work. I mean, we're fortunate to see that on a daily basis, and the way that everything that they put into it, the ground balls, the fly balls, the sides, everything that goes on from, you know, a game prep perspective, they give it everything they have every single day.
How do you see Nick York fitting into this team?
Really excited to have Nick back, and Cam Sanders adding them for you know, the roster expansion in September. Nick has played extremely well. August absolutely killed it, and he's starting at first base today. We're going to see him at, you know, first, second, corner outfield. Really excited to add his bat back to the team.
What did he do? It didn't start well, but as you mentioned, it came on late. What specifically happened to get him to a place?
I think he kept working. You know, I think that, you know, early on, swing wasn't there, and as a player, looking back at my career, and I can't speak for him, but when things don't get off to such a good start, kind of fall into that little trap and trying to figure it out, and he continued to work and came out of it.
Was this year good for him, do you think? Because I mean, Ben even mentioned that he probably wanted to be up here sooner, and maybe having to stay in a place that you don't want to be at for longer than you think you should be there, that can sometimes at the end of the day be good.
Yeah, something that I learned through my career was, and it's hard to go through, is that I truly believe everything happens for a reason, and how you work through that, how you learn something about yourself. You know, and I was able to have a quick conversation with Nick earlier today, and you know, he acknowledged working through that and finding a way to get better, and hopefully that pays dividends in the long term, because this game is so hard, and it's not like you're never going to be in a spot where you're struggling a little bit. You know, you're gonna have slumps, you're gonna have times that you're not feeling your best, and how do you lean into those moments that you learned from in the past of being able to continue to work and continue to grind to get better.
You mentioned the time in AAA, this call-up, it's a little bit easier for him because he knows a lot of the guys, because a lot of the guys here have spent time in AAA. Is that something that you've kind of noticed just internally, that this team knows each other well because they've spent time together in the minor leagues?
There are a lot of guys that have, you're right, and finding, you know, when you first get called up to the big leagues, it's been your dream, your goal, your whole life, and to realize that he did a good job last year, and then to have to go back down, you get that familiarity with some teammates, that now you do have that familiarity with your teammates up here, and also you've been here, you kind of know what to expect too, as far as, you know, how the days are going to go, the travel, the road trips, different things like that. You know where to go in the stadium, you know where the cage is. So I think from that standpoint, things start to get a little bit easier, and you don't have to think your way through it. You kind of just flow through the day, and when you can do that with people that you've competed with in AAA or in the big leagues, it makes it a lot easier.
What excites you about the opportunity for him to play first here in the bigs, knowing that in spring training, his brother sent him his mitt to use at first. Now he has his own, he said, but just the opportunity he has here in front of himself at that position specifically.
Yeah, it was tough in spring training. Getting a first base glove for the first time, trying to learn. And first base, like we've talked about, isn't as easy as you might think with the footwork around the bag. You think if you go from playing short, second, third, and then going over to first, that it would just be, walk in the park, and it's not. When you're learning how the ball's hit that way, but I got to run this way to go to first, and then your footwork around the bag, and there's a lot of thought that goes into it and trying to figure it out. And then when it becomes a little more routine, and it sounds like he's gotten a lot more comfortable with the glove, a lot more comfortable with the movements and the actions, and seems to be in a really good spot.
Managing with the 2 extra roster spots this month, how do you adjust that? And you talked about communication earlier, talking with guys that may not play as much down the stretch here.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like the pitching stuff, trying to communicate it. It's going to be a fluid situation on how these guys are going to be used, where they're going to be used, different positions. I think that's a real big benefit of the guys that we have on the roster is there's a lot of versatility, a lot of different ways that they can help us, and just trying to fit the pieces together and get their bats in the lineup as often as we can.
You have Carmen starting tonight. What have you liked from his last 2 starts against the Cardinals and Cubs, and what gives you the confidence to keep putting him out there as that starting pitcher?
Yeah, he's a competitor, man. Like we've talked about with a lot of these guys that have been bouncing around. Against the Cardinals, 1 run, Cubs, same, gave us a chance to win those games, and the way that he's thrown the ball, he's held his velocity. That split has been big for him. The way that he's been able to mix in his breaking ball too, and just the competitor that he is, he's done a really good job for us starting.
Does Kershaw still look like Kershaw to you, especially lately?
Oh man, he's a legend, and just the way that he's able to pitch and utilize his stuff, especially you see that slow curve that keeps everybody off balance, makes his fastball velo play up, and he's Hall of Famer for a reason.
I haven't looked, but I'm assuming you probably crossed paths, faced him at some point, or?
Well, I don't know about myself. Leland would have had to have a lot to drink the night before if you'd put me in there against Cleveland.
Well, maybe to protect somebody.
Yeah, maybe to
Go
protect
get
somebody
him.
later.
You're at bats.
Yeah. But no, just he's had a heck of a career and having another good year, and just I know Maddie and the guys are putting a good game plan together for tonight.
What makes Bubba Chandler so effective?
Again, his mindset and the competitiveness that he brings every day, and then you throw that along with the talent that he's got, the fastball velo, and the way that he's able to utilize that and mix in his off-speed pitches. But just I think the competitor in him and the mindset that he takes out there with his stuff makes him really tough.
Thank you.
Thank you.